I want to show a little idea I had here, which I think is kind of interesting, very incomplete. Um, but there's lots of chatbots. Lots of them are like, oh, how can we make you happy or something. And that would be interesting instead to think like, what if this is a way for you to practice making someone else feel happier? So this is a general kind of chat interface I built. It's built on top of the ChatGPT API, and this contains an initial prompt that describes a whole bunch of stuff. In this case, I've like invented a depressed guy who you might encounter at a bus stop and talk to, and then a little bit of kind of a first message, and then down here is some special code that I've written. So usually you would just have a chat, but here I wanted some stuff to both be in the chat, like as instructions inline in the chat instead of just being in this prompt at the top, and also then some logic that goes with it. So I'll show how that works kind of here. So I might say something to them, this person. All right, so why are you feeling good? I feel lonely and like no one cares about me. Here it actually, did I give the woman a name? Yeah, kind of recounts, sometimes it recounts too much backstory. Like I want to add a backstory, but it's like, well, as long as I know it, I'm going to like spit it all out. Haven't figured out a way around that. And then, so this is a kind of basic thing you might try to like interact with the person. If we looked down here, we'll see the actual chat messages. So here's the API calls. So this is a completion. The system is like sets up everything, and then the chat itself has these back and forths. Right now, there's hidden information in here, and I'll show it more thoroughly. But I'm asking it to decide if you become happier or more sad, or if this person becomes happier or more sad. So I put this in the initial system prompt, right? Like this information here, which I could probably remove because it's not useful. But what happened, and this one is, the assistant didn't actually say that, right? That's my way. I decided to introduce this. But I've changed every time I do a chat, like, why aren't you feeling good? Then I include this extra bit of instruction. And I do that in every one, and then it consistently includes that at the end of its message. And if you don't have that in every one, it wasn't being consistent. So this way it can kind of like constantly update these bits of information. Now the idea then in this game is that once you're doing this, you can go through and become happy or sad or what have you. So this, when I put it here, it shows this is what actually is sent and what is received, and then this is what we're showing. So if I'll turn this on so I can see how it's designed to interpret me. Now, one of the problems here is that it's easy to kind of lie to the person and just do simple things like I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, and that is like a not a fake way. But we'll see if this it also can push back against that sometimes. Now GPT is being difficult. Let's see if we can get it to complete now. Okay. Still feeling pretty down, but talking to you helps. Again, I think here it does push back against. I don't think we know each other well enough for that. I think there can be a lot more kind of done with that initial prompt and with some of these instructions to make it harder to just like hack this essentially. And you can say it over and over, and it'll probably be like, yeah, I feel a little bit better each time. Oh, here it says, okay. The second time around, it's like, no, that actually made me less happy. this was working at its best, we might have more of these kinds of ways of interacting with it. And then finally, once you get to a high enough number, if you get to +1 happiness, it really doesn't like this. It'll eventually say, kind of like you win. And again, as I say, there's no kind of ground truth outside the chat history itself that helps you tell if you're giving someone like trivial bits of happiness, though arguably maybe trivial bits of happiness are good. But yeah, going through all the person's clothing is not a realistic way to actually cheer someone up. All right, can we do it? I like that it does respond realistically to my very strange compliment. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. Let's see if I can finally get to the finish. It's getting long, but it's so close. Oh, it must be so great. Ta-da! So the way this worked is that the code eventually added up all these pluses and minuses and said you got to +1, which is winning, essentially. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just a little playful idea, but I thought I would share it.